To Felicita, Idosa was simply her roommate. She didn't know that Idosa was a girl who had died 5 years earlier. In the bustling area of Benin City, especially around Uniben, there lived a girl named Felicita. Her roommate was Idosa, and the two were extremely close. They were always together. But over time, Felicita began to notice strange things. For instance, Idosa only slept facing upward, never on her side, never face down. And sometimes, whenever she turned to look at Felicita, she would freeze and stay that way until morning, completely unable to move. One night, Felicita came into the room past midnight. She wore a blazer and a white top, something different from her usual outfits, but similar to the way Idosa used to dress. Idosa normally dressed like the Gen Z baddie of the school. Everyone at Uniben knew her. She had dated sugar daddies, Yahoo boys, everyone. She even dated a pastor once. Felicita always wondered how she managed to attract such a godly man. But whenever she asked, Idosa would laugh and say, "They are all men, they are all equal. Show them what they want and they fall instantly. Even the ones shouting God up and down, those ones don't even have a voice. If I want any man, if I want any baby, I can get him." Felicita would always sigh and say, "I wish I was like you." Idosa would reply, "Be like me now. If you want to be a baddie, be a baddie. If you want to drink, drink. If you want to smoke, smoke. A time will come when you won't be able to do these things again." Felicita would nod. It's true. She didn't know that Idosa actually regretted her former life. Before she died, Idosa had been a church girl. She attended services faithfully. One night, while returning from church, she was kidnapped and murdered, then buried in a shallow grave. No one ever found her body. This happened far away in Kano State. One night, Felicita woke up and decided to pray. She'd noticed she no longer did her night vigils, so she set her gospel music as an alarm to wake herself up. When the music started playing, she woke up immediately. But Idosa complained, telling her to turn off the music. Felicita refused. "I'm using it to pray," she said. "I can't turn it off." "Me? Join you to pray? How? Off that music, Joe." But Felicita refused. Idosa walked over, tapped her own forehead, then tapped Felicita's. Suddenly, a strange heaviness washed over Felicita. Her eagerness to pray disappeared. She switched off her phone and went back to sleep. The next morning, she asked Idosa, "Did my alarm not ring?" "It rang. I tried waking you, but you told me to leave me alone." Felicita was confused. She never forgot alarms. She was a very light sleeper. But this kept happening again and again. Every night, she remembered nothing unless she read her books beforehand. Meanwhile, Idosa always brought food and drinks for her, and Felicita always ate it. After all, who didn't like food? One afternoon, Idosa came in and sat beside her. She said, "I'm worried. I'm not feeling fulfilled. What I came to do, I'm not getting it." "What did you come to do?" Felicita asked. "I want to see that monk pastor, and he has refused. I've tried every trick I know, but he still refuses." Felicita laughed and said, "If the pastor refuses, leave him. You have so many boyfriends and sugar daddies. You are dating the senator, SUG president, everybody. You are beautiful. Anyone will fall for you." "That's not what I want," Idosa said. "I want you to connect me with this pastor. He is your friend." "I can't hand my pastor to you. I refuse." The next Sunday, Felicita woke up to find Idosa dressed beautifully, in a gown with her scarf tied neatly, looking angelic. "Where are you going?" Felicita asked, shocked. "It's Sunday. I'm going to church with you. I have decided to repent. God is calling me." Felicita was overjoyed. At church, after the worship session, she introduced Idosa to the pastor, the head of the student fellowship. As soon as he shook Idosa's hand, he stepped back. He pulled Felicita aside. He whispered, "When I touch someone, I see their soul. But when I touch you, there's nothing, only darkness. This girl is not ordinary. Take your prayer life seriously." Felicita defended Idosa. "She has changed. She wants to be baptized. She even registered." The pastor simply warned her again. That evening, Idosa returned with rice and chicken. As they ate and watched a movie, Felicita told her what the pastor said. Idosa burst into tears. "I know I've lived a sinful life, but does he have to condemn me? This is why I hate going to church." Felicita comforted her. Later that night, Felicita and Idosa slept. But when Felicita woke up, the pastor's warning echoed painfully in her mind. She glanced at Idosa, who lay asleep. Instead of waking her or playing music, Felicita quietly began to pray in her heart. As she prayed silently, she opened her eyes and found Idosa staring at her. Her face looked weak, tired, and twisted with anger. Tears streamed down her face. She stood, trembling, and reached toward Felicita as if to strangle her. Felicita screamed, "Jesus! Jesus! Jesus!" Suddenly, everything snapped. It felt like a dream, and she woke up. This time, Idosa was not in the room. In the morning, people knocked on her door. Even the pastor had called her over 50 times. Idosa's mother was looking for her, but Idosa said she was an orphan. That was when she learned the truth. Idosa had died 6 years earlier. She had been living with a spirit. When she checked Idosa's belongings, they were all there, but Idosa herself was nowhere to be found. She wasn't even in the school registry. She had simply been a wandering spirit. That night, Felicita thanked God and slept peacefully. But the next morning, she discovered that someone had dried her clothes for her. At first, she thought she might have forgotten doing it herself. But when she returned later, the clothes had been folded exactly the way Idosa used to fold them. Beside them was a plate of fried rice and chicken, and a note that read, "I'm still coming back."
Ow! Even though Idosa was gone, Felicity could not find peace. The note haunted her. "I'm still coming back." She read it over and over again until the paper crumpled in her trembling hands. That night, she locked her door 3 times. She prayed for hours. But when she finally drifted to sleep, she dreamt of Idosa. In the dream, Idosa sat at the edge of her bed, smiling that same beautiful smile she used to have. "Did you think you could get rid of me?" she whispered. "I told you I'm coming back." Felicity woke up screaming. Her body was drenched in sweat. The room was empty, but the air felt thick, like someone was watching her. She grabbed her Bible and began to pray, but the words felt heavy on her tongue. It was as if something was blocking them from leaving her mouth. Days passed and things began to disappear. First, it was her favorite scarf, then her red lipstick, then her earrings, the small gold ones her mother gave her. She searched everywhere but found nothing. One morning, she woke up and saw her lipstick on the table, neatly placed as if someone had just used it. But she lived alone. She hadn't touched it in days. Felicity's hands shook as she picked it up. She threw it in the bin immediately. But the next day, it was back on the table. This time, there was a mark on the mirror, a kiss print in red lipstick. Felicity screamed and ran out of the room. She went to the fellowship. She told them everything. They prayed for her. They anointed her room with oil. They fasted for 3 days, but nothing changed. Every night, the dreams came. Idosa laughing, Idosa cooking, Idosa brushing her hair in the mirror. And in every dream, she would turn to Felicity and say, "I'm still here. I never left." Felicity stopped sleeping. She would sit in the corner of her room with her Bible open, eyes wide, staring at the door. But even when she didn't sleep, she would blink and find things moved. Her chair facing the wrong direction, her shoes arranged in a way she never arranged them, her blanket folded the way Idosa used to fold it. She began to lose weight. Her friends noticed. The pastor noticed. "Felicity, you need to eat," they would say. but she couldn't. Every time she tried to eat, she would remember the food Idosa used to bring her, the rice, the chicken, and she would gag. One night, Felicity sat on her bed and made a decision. She would not eat. She would not drink. She would starve herself until she died, because death seemed easier than this torment. If I die, she can't follow me anymore, she whispered to herself. She stopped going to class. She stopped answering calls. For 2 days, she lay in bed, refusing food, refusing water. Her body grew weak. Her lips cracked. Her vision blurred. On the 3rd day, her friends broke down her door. They found her barely conscious, muttering Idosa's name. They rushed her to the hospital. And when she was stable, they called the pastor. He came immediately. He gathered the entire fellowship and they held a deliverance session in her hospital room. They prayed, they sang, they rebuked every spirit, they commanded every darkness to leave. And Felicity wept. She wept so hard her body shook. She screamed, "She's here, she's still here." But the pastor held her hand firmly. "In the name of Jesus, leave her alone," he commanded. After hours of prayer, Felicity finally fell asleep. When she woke, the pastor was sitting beside her. He looked tired but peaceful. "How do you feel?" he asked gently. I don't know," Felicity whispered. "She's gone," the pastor said. "We have prayed. You are free." But Felicity shook her head. "I can still feel her. She's still here." The pastor sighed deeply. He pulled his chair closer and looked her in the eyes. "Felicity, listen to me carefully. Idosa cannot come back. She has no power over you, but you have given her a place in your mind. You are so afraid of her return that you have created her presence yourself. It is all in your mind." Felicity stared at him, confused. "But the lipstick, the food, the note." "Yes," the pastor said calmly. "Those things happened, but that was before. She tried to come back, but she couldn't. So now she is using your fear. Your mind is keeping her alive. Do you remember the first time she left? It was because of your faith. You called on Jesus and she had no choice but to flee. But now you have stopped believing. You have allowed fear to replace your faith. And as long as you believe she is here, she will be here in your mind." Felicity's lips trembled. "So, she's not real?" "Not anymore," the pastor said. "But your fear is real. And your fear is tormenting you more than any spirit ever could. You need to believe again. Believe that she is gone. Believe that you are free. Believe that God has delivered you. It is all in your mind, Felicity, and only you can take her out." Felicity sat in silence for a long time. The pastor's words echoed in her head. It is all in your mind. She wanted to believe him, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw Idosa's face. It took weeks of fighting her own thoughts, weeks of reminding herself, she is not here, she is gone, I am free. Some days she believed it. Other days she would see a shadow and panic. But slowly, the fear began to lose its grip. She started eating again. She started sleeping again. And one morning, she woke up and realized she hadn't dreamt of Idosa in 3 days. Then a week. Then 2 weeks. Then a month. And finally, Felicity accepted the truth. Idosa was not coming back. She had never come back. It was all in her mind. Her faith had set her free the first time, and now her faith had set her free again. From that day forward, Felicity took her prayer life seriously. She prayed every morning. She prayed every night. She read her Bible faithfully. And she made a vow she would never break. She would never have a roommate again. Never. Because some doors, once opened, are too dangerous to ever open again.